You know. Well, allow me to begin, colleagues, with a few welcoming remarks. Your Excellency, Ambassador Vieira, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Federative Republic of Brazil, Your Excellency, Minister Lavrov, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, Your Excellency, Dr. Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs of the Republic of India, and Your Excellency, Executive Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Ma, BRICS Sherpas and Sous Sherpas, Excellencies, Ambassadors, senior officials, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really privileged to have the honor to welcome you to Кейптаун, South Africa, for our meeting as BRICS Ministers of Foreign Affairs and International Relations. South Africa is honored to chair our BRICS partnership for the third time since we were invited to join BRICS in 2010. And this is a role that we take very seriously as we regard BRICS with great admiration and support. South Africa chairs BRICS this year under the theme BRICS and Africa, Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development, and Inclusive Multilateralism. Our vision of BRICS is for our partnership to provide global leadership in a world fractured by competition, geopolitical tension, inequality, and deteriorating global security. Archbishop Desmond Tutu once said, "We think of ourselves far too frequently as just individuals, separated from one another, whereas you are connected and what you do affects the whole world. When you do it well, it spreads out. It is for the whole of humanity." This is the essence of what South Africa refers to as Ubuntu, a humanist African philosophy that underlies our diplomacy as well as the BRICS principles of mutually beneficial South-South cooperation. Our vision of BRICS is for our partnership to drive inclusion of Africa and the global South in a more fair, just, and equitable world based on mutual respect and the equal sovereignty of nations. Our vision of BRICS sees our partnership as a catalyst for sustained and mutually beneficial global growth and sustainable development, one that responds to the needs and demands of the whole world and not just the privileged few. Our vision of BRICS reflects South Africa's principled position that we advance in partnership with others. We move forward with the African continent and the global South, and that no one must be left behind. Our discussions today will therefore focus on opportunities to strengthening and transforming global governance systems. We will also explore synergies between BRICS and the G20 in a multipolar world. We will look forward to solutions for sustainable and inclusive global economic recovery and hope to foster an environment of peace and development. We will also explore opportunities for de-risking our BRICS institutions in the current financial landscape and look to bring fairness to global financial systems toward a world with less poverty, less inequality, and more focus on development. And will reflect on partnerships and preparations between the BRICS 15th Summit, which will be held in Johannesburg this year, not in Durban, Johannesburg. I know there's been lots of statements that the meeting will be in Johannesburg. So I'm really, really thrilled, dear colleagues, to welcome you and to then invite my colleagues to make remarks in the order that I shall now indicate. I believe that I should now invite His Excellency, Minister Ambassador Vieira, to make his opening remarks. Minister. And before they shout, Mike.
Yeah. Minister Naledi Pandor, colleagues, Minister Sergei Lavrov, Minister Jai Shankar, and Minister Ma. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here in this beautiful city of Кейптаун and to be able to meet face-to-face as representatives of BRICS. I would like to express my gratitude to South Africa for organizing this meeting and for its wonderful hospitality. I have already met all of you individually in the margins of the G20 in Delhi or at the UN or even in DC, in Washington. Some of you I have known for years, like Minister Jai Shankar, and I have also the honor to know Minister Lavrov for many years and to have hosted him this year in Brazil. And also Minister Ma Zhaozhu, who was the PR in New York during my years. As you are aware, since President Lula took office in Brazil in January, we have been restoring our foreign policy principles and traditions as enshrined in our Constitution. Principles such as the commitment to multilateralism, international law, and UN Charter, the dialogue and peace among nations, and to the promotion of sustainable development and social justice. To achieve those objectives, we must work together with our partners, especially those of the developing world that face similar challenges and constraints. Starting in our region, we hosted this week, last Tuesday, May 30th, in Brasilia, a summit of South American leaders, the first meeting of all 11 heads of state and 1 head of government of the region since 2014. We are strengthening our engagement with Mercosur, and we have rejoined CELAC and UNASUR. In the same spirit, we are working to deepen our dialogue and cooperation with African countries which have enormous potential for trade and investment and with whom we share historical and cultural ties. The same applies to Asian and Middle Eastern countries. We are resuming the South-South dimension of our foreign policy. It is our goal to reinforce partnership with friends from the Global South. Brazil is also fully committed to strengthening our engagement with BRICS, which is an indispensable mechanism for building a multipolar world order that reflects the voices and needs of developing countries. This standalone BRICS meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs is of great importance and political statement in itself. I would also like to state my satisfaction with the recent nomination by the Board of Governors of the NDB of former President of Brazil, Dilma Rousseff, as President of the new Development Bank. President Dilma Rousseff has had an important role in BRICS history. It was during her presidency in the Fortaleza Summit held in 2014 that the new Development Bank and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement were created. I had the honor to be President Dilma Rousseff Foreign Minister in 2015 and 16, and I'm sure that under her leadership, the NDB will expand and increase its capacity to fund innovative, inclusive, and sustainable projects. In addition to efforts to broaden the NDB membership, we are willing to explore new means of engagements with our partners from the developing world. We look forward to tomorrow's session with an extensive number of representatives invited as friends of BRICS. I thank you again for this opportunity to have this relevant discussion on our BRICS partners. Thank you very much, Minister Pandor.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Minister Vieira. Could I now invite Minister Lavrov to deliver his opening remarks Honourable Minister.
Спасибо. I'll speak in Russian. To emphasize multipolarity. Нет перевода? Уважаемая госпожа председатель, уважаемые коллеги, рад вновь находиться на гостеприимной южноафриканской земле и прежде всего благодарим министра иностранных дел госпожу Нали де Пандор и всех друзей из Южноафриканской Республики за прекрасную организацию сегодняшнего заседания. Мы ценим и поддерживаем эффективную, энергичную работу ЮАР у руля нашего объединения. Мир меняется стремительно. Государства Азии, Африки и Латинской Америки укрепляют свои экономические позиции, демонстрируют стремление и готовность отстаивать суверенные национальные интересы и играть равноправную роль в глобальных процессах. Ускоряется становление более справедливого, полицентричного миропорядка. Уходит в прошлое однополярный уклад, заточенный на создание привилегий для одной страны или для узкой группы стран путем навязывания всем остальным неких правил и стандартов, которые диктуются эгоистическими интересами и не учитывают коренные основополагающие принципы международного права. Еще пока широко распространены проявления гегемонизма, односторонности. От этого страдает прежде всего глобальный Юг и глобальный Восток. Запад путем санкций, финансового шантажа упорно пытается влиять на выбор экономической модели и торговых партнеров с суверенными государствами, ограничивая их возможности. Продолжаются попытки идеологизировать международные дискуссии и многосторонние институты. Как результат, не решаются насущные для международного сообщества задачи по выводу мировой экономики из кризиса, обеспечению ее устойчивого развития, согласованному реформированию мировой валютно-финансовой и торговой системы с учетом интересов глобального большинства. Подобные, прямо скажем, неоколониальные манеры и практики, основывающиеся на желании жить за счет других, самым негативным образом сказываются на межгосударственном общении и недопустимы в современном мире. Убежден, что в текущих условиях роль БРИКС в содействии решению глобальных проблем должна только возрастать, тем более, что наше объединение остается примером подлинной многосторонности, инклюзивной, универсальной и недискриминационной. И в нынешних условиях, конечно же, пятерка продолжает выстраивать сотрудничество на основе взаимного уважения, принципов открытости, прагматизма и солидарности, консенсуса и преемственности. На фоне действий Запада наши страны вместе со всеми государствами глобального большинства должны активно искать поиск универсальных совместных ответов на вызовы современности. В их числе выделю попытки подрыва основ коллективной, равной и неделимой безопасности, региональные конфликты, международный терроризм, транснациональная преступность, включая криминальное использование современных технологий. И в этом контексте мы приветствуем проведение в рамках СМИД отдельной сессии в формате «Друзей БРИКС» с приглашением государств-единомышленников. Ну и, конечно же, здесь, в Кейптауне, очень важно сверить наши подходы по всем этим вопросам и также по внутрибриксовской повестке дня, в первую очередь в том, что касается подхода к расширению нашего объединения. Рассчитываем, что подготовленное совместное заявление по итогам встречи, которое было согласовано с шерпами, будет хорошим вкладом в подготовку декларации лидеров пятерки в августе в Йоханнесбурге. Благодарю вас.
Thank you very much, dear colleague. Could I now invite Minister Jaishankar to deliver his opening remarks? Minister.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, let me begin by thanking South Africa and Foreign Minister Naledi Pandor personally for hosting us today at Кейптаун, this beautiful Indo-Atlantic city. A BRICS meeting is an important event in our diplomatic calendar, and more so at a time when the international situation is challenging. Colleagues, the global environment today demands that we, the BRICS nations, approach key contemporary issues seriously, constructively, and collectively. Our gathering must send out a strong message that the world is multipolar, that it is rebalancing, and that old ways cannot address new situations. We are a symbol of change and must act accordingly. This responsibility is even greater as we contemplate the devastating after effects of the COVID pandemic, the stresses arising from conflict, and the economic distress of the global South. They underline the deep shortcomings of the current international architecture, which does not reflect today's politics, economics, demographics, or indeed aspirations. For 2 decades, we have heard calls for reform of multilateral institutions, only to be continuously disappointed. It is therefore imperative that BRICS members demonstrate sincerity in regard to reforming global decision-making, including that of the UN Security Council. Excellencies, at the heart of the problems we face is economic concentration that leaves too many nations at the mercy of too few. This may be in regard to production, resources, services, or connectivity. Recent experiences impacting health, energy, and food security only highlight this fragility. India undertook the Voice of the Global South exercise to place these issues before the G20. We urge that BRICS give it particular consideration and promote the economic decentralization that is so essential to political democratization. Among the key threats to international peace and security is that of terrorism. All nations must take resolute measures against this menace, including its financing and propaganda. It must be combated in all its forms and manifestations and never be condoned under any circumstances. The United Nations has declared 2023 as the International Year of Millets. Encouraging climate resilient and nutritious grain production will surely enhance global food security. The Lifestyle for Environment initiative tabled by India is another important step towards sustainability that the BRICS should support. Colleagues, our meeting will also be considering the comprehensive institutional development of BRICS. We approach that exercise in a positive spirit and with an open mind. The level of interest in this grouping is a matter of satisfaction and a testimony of our growing influence. For that very reason, decisions we take have far-reaching consequences. They will also enhance our mutually beneficial cooperation in the times to come. We have today many crucial issues to deliberate upon, and we will do so in the spirit of equality, mutual respect, and complete consensus that is the hallmark of BRICS. I look forward to our discussions.
Thank you very much, dear Minister. Could I now invite His Excellency Vice Minister Majo Zhu to present his opening remarks. Honorable Vice Minister.
Thank you. I speak Chinese. 尊敬的潘多尔外长，尊敬的维埃拉外长，尊敬的拉夫洛夫外长，尊敬的苏杰生外长，各位同事，很高兴来到美丽的开普敦出席金砖国家外长正式会晤。首先，我再次祝贺南非担任金砖主席国，感谢潘多尔外长主持这次会晤，并且给我们带来了非常好的天气。我想感谢南非同事的热情周到安排。过去1年，在十分复杂严峻的国际形势下，中国作为主席国，同金砖各国一道，推动各领域合作，取得丰硕成果，开启了金砖高质量发展的新阶段。我谨代表中国政府，对各位金砖伙伴给予的宝贵支持和真诚合作表示真诚的感谢。我们面对100年未有之大变局，坚持和平发展， 维护公平正义，坚持推进金砖团结合作，克服重重困难和疫情挑战，就促进全球发展、维护安全稳定发出金砖声音，为动荡不安的国际局势注入稳定性，为推动落实联合国2030年可持续发展议程提供了新动能。我们顺应世界多极化和国际关系民主化的潮流，坚持真正的多边主义，努力提升发展中国家在国际事务中的发言权和影响力，推动全球治理体系变革和建设。我们积极拓展金砖加模式，就启动金砖扩员讨论达成了重要共识，不断提升金砖合作的吸引力、影响力、感召力，加强新兴市场国家和发展中国家联合自强。各位同事，当前世界进入新的动荡变革期，金砖合作面临前所未有的机遇，也面临前所未有的挑战。中国完全赞同南非确定的今年金砖合作的主题，将全力支持南非主席国的工作。我们也相信，在南非有力的主持下，通过5国的共同努力，金砖南非年必将亮点纷呈，推动金砖合作再上新的台阶。最后，我预祝本次金砖国家外长正式会晤以及明天举行的金砖外长挚友会议取得圆满成功。
Thank you once more, dear Minister, for your welcoming remarks, and may I thank all our colleagues for their opening remarks.